Stan Lee was announced dead back on this past Monday at 95 years old. He pretty much gave birth to heroes as we know them. I mean, way back a long time ago, uh, he wrote very prolifically about all these superheroes, and of course he competed with other companies doing the same thing. But one interesting thing is that he combined the maybe childishness of the superhero suits with the more adult weaknesses of the characters and driving stories. He brought a Spider-Man who has some pretty amazing powers and can do many wonderful things, but is also a kid trying to get through school and hold a first-time job and balance love affairs, romances. He gave us the Daredevil with all his acrobatic powers and that, who's also blind. Everything we see today about heroes, not only the fact that even though a hero can be larger than life, but that they can also be human and have frailties. And their weaknesses aren't necessarily limited to kryptonite, but sometimes their own feelings. This man gave us. I'm going to be reacting to a video Marvel released. It's titled Marvel Remembers the Legacy of Stan Lee. I'm going to link it below. And I'm curious to see how they did it. I know it's 4 minutes long, and I notice as I'm queuing it up here that even one of the first comments is 4 minutes is too short a time to pay tribute to this man. I believe it. I noticed that watching it too. I mean, you see my info up there. There's a number of you that also know that I am an author. I write fantasy stories, and I know that Stan Lee, he had a quote that he mentioned. He was troubled because people are out there building bridges and doing these great engineering marvels, and he just does comic books. But he came to realize his worth too, as far as entertaining people, and how people, got through their daily lives, but were entertained by what he put on the paper. He put on the page. And I've often told people a hard part about being an author and writing a book is that I can try to write to the best of my ability. I can feel like I wrote something good, but I don't see that fan reaction. This man was big. At any point in the last even couple decades easily, as the Marvel Cinematic Universe is playing on the big screen, he could have put on a disguise that probably would not have worked and walked into any movie theater and seen how the crowd reacted to the superheroes that he invented and brought to us. I mean, enough said about that. I can't say enough about this man, but I'm going to say enough for now, and I'm going to get to the video and watch it.
I'm Stan Lee. I've been writing stories for the young generation for the past 30 years.
Doesn't look like him.
During this time, I think I've learned a lot about what young people think. More importantly, I think I've learned a lot about what young people are. We're going to try to present a voice that
really
somebody will listen to. The voice is needed. We hope it will be ours.
Man, the stages of him growing older, it's like he looks so. We used to see him as.
There you are.
Where did he first quote that?
Only, Mr. Stanley. Stan was doing one of his panels, and they asked me to come up and just say hi to him. Felt a little goofy, but I came up, I shook his hand. I think the microphone caught it, but I whispered in his ear. I said, hey, they just wanted me to come up here and shake your hand, but while I'm up here, I want to say thank you. You saved my life. Because the life that I have today, there's a direct line to that first comic book to here.
Well, Stan's
people who entertain, they don't realize how much sometimes they can lift hearts. Those of us who are having the worries of everyday life.
As a creative figure is one thing. Stan, as a personality, was able to somehow tap into his own larger-than-life, self-effacing, and self-aggrandizing at the same time.
I wish I met him in real life.
As I would describe that P.T. Barnum aspect of him, it's just something he infused the group with, and it's something that the people who follow him have been able to kind of keep that energy going.
Live to 95,
I think Stan Lee
have
is
that
going
energy
to be an icon, what he represents, what he was able to accomplish. He built American mythology because stories are really what stay with us.
those characters that he created and what he infused Marvel
trying to catch all these
have
superheroes
always shown through.
Even if they have superpower, they have to be believable. What they do has to be what any normal person would do in those situations.
And the idea that he championed
it's that
all
human
kinds of
quality
different voices,
that draws
all
people
kinds
in.
of points of view, and the concept of diversity and equality and conversations about, social politics, all these things he had been doing for years, and now it's at the forefront of everything that we talk about.
I just think he was just connected in that way, and he was connected to who his true audience was and who he was really writing for.
He complemented that with always being hopeful, with his own first-person personality of being Stan.
My earliest memories of Stan were reading those soapboxes. You felt like he was talking directly to you and no one else. What I didn't realize was that there was a kid behind me at the candy store reading the same thing.
I like that quote way over there on the bottom with his signature.
Ideology
That's
was
good
very
one.
clear. It was very black and white. How to be good, how to treat people equally. And that's a really powerful impact. To lean into the light as much as you can.
In this world, so many people, will still do
writing the soapboxes,
their own kind of racism, their own kind of segregation. You do have to embrace everyone.
Just to make the books not seem like something cold and aloof and
I think he's one of the ones
something you buy and
that
you
off.
throw away. I wanted them to feel buying a Marvel book was like visiting an old friend.
Without that, we wouldn't be experiencing the success we have today.
People like that, creative geniuses like that, you can't help but walk away learning lessons. They have a way of delivering messages that, just resonate with those of us who
people wouldn't attach to a hero that's too much larger than life, and it's hard to find a challenge for that person.
And that anybody could belong to it. We're really lucky to have him really define us, because it's really given us something to move forward with.
There will never be a world
I really can't believe that I've ran into him, that I have not ran into him.
He's the heart
at
of
a
the
convention
Marvel
or
universe.
something. Man, how much of it did he build? I mean, I don't truly know exactly how many superheroes he did do and how many were others, but man, the video's too short. It is too short. That is correct. Everyone is absolutely right that the stuff they peg him. I mean, Graham, when I watched this video, I wasn't sure what I was going to see. In fact, a part of me, the kid in me, wanted to even see more of the superhero parts, and I don't know why. It really isn't exactly like, I guess we know the superhero parts. We know the superheroes. We've seen them. We watch them on the big screen. This was totally dedicated to Stan Lee, the man, as he appeared at conventions, as we knew him. It's a better tribute than I guess I would have given him, because I think of the movie stuff, I think of the superheroes. This was focused on the man that brought us that, and that's appropriate. It's still too short. It is. I wish we could have seen more. I wish we could have seen more of this guy had to have had his own challenges. I mean, when you're writing about somebody, as a writer, it's always good when you can draw on something in real life. I've said that a lot of my characters I've written, are characters I've role-played, and characters that have already been in their own kind of adventure. And you want to write from as close to life as possible. Whether the character did an adventure or whether it's something I experienced in life, I feel like Stan Lee was the kind of man, too, that something within him had that ability to empathize with things, had that ability to draw from something real. Whether all these characters, whether their flaws are each part of something that maybe he found within himself and he was able to throw into the characters, able to express that way, or if he was just able to watch, learn, and recreate stuff at an awesome level. Man, I would be so lucky if I could touch even a small fraction of the crowd of the people he touched. He influences my work. I am going to miss him. I am going to miss that the Marvel Cinematic Universe. I know they've got plans beyond Avengers 4. It still seems like when it hits, though, it's that there's going to be end of the road. Because certainly the end of the road to some of the actors. And, I am thankful for Stan Lee for introducing these characters in my life. Because it was a part of how I learned to read, and maybe later learn to create, was I walked down to the bookstore. I picked up X-Men comics, Spider-Man comics, I watched The Incredible Hulk on TV as a kid. I watched Lou Ferrigno play that part. And I've always felt that, not really to knock DC, but I've always felt that Marvel has always hit it more on the head of giving us those believable superheroes that, we know there's something in them that if they might fail, it might be even partly their own fault that they fail. Because of something inside them that they also need to deal with as much as anything on the outside. I love it. I've gone on long enough. Thank you. Please give me your like if you appreciated my open, honest reaction to this. Check out more of the stuff on my channel. And we'll miss you, Stan Lee. Hello and welcome. We recently witnessed the passing of somebody who has been very influential in our entertainment